My phone's gonna go to 15% any second now. What is up, guys? Player One Gaming. My friend Steeler Dude 11 yelled at me for not making my video because I didn't make a video yesterday, and now I'm making one now. Sorry, this is a bag of chips. So I'm gonna make my week 6 results and reactions right now. I'm gonna go over which games I was happy with and which games I wasn't and stuff like that. Just my reaction. There it is. Michigan and number 15 Michigan and Maryland. Now I wish Michigan, I wish we were able to hold them to less than that. If it weren't for that stupid freaking that kick return touchdown, then this would have never happened. Also, if we didn't just let them score in the end, it would have been 42-20 or 42-7, or at least 42-14. But Michigan wins 42-21. Northwestern and Michigan State. Another thing about this, I forgot to mention. I got every prediction right. If you saw my last prediction video I made on this week's games, I got every prediction right on all these games. Everything was right. I had a perfect score. Northwestern and Michigan State, I even predicted the upset, and it happened. Michigan State is not going to be ranked anymore. Northwestern wins 29-19. They actually showed it during the Michigan game. They showed the final score, and there was a lot of cheering from Michigan fans. So they showed it on the big billboard and everything. So that was great. Northwestern wins. They beat a team after now they're 2-3 actually. They beat Purdue and Michigan State, and they've lost to Duke, I think Akron, and Michigan. So 29-19 is the final score here. And I'm rooting for Northwestern for the rest of the season because I really like them. Not when they beat us, but I like them. Illinois and Rutgers. Illinois was a heavy favorite, and the score shows Illinois wins 38-17 in kind of a hard-fought battle, sorta, by Rutgers. They scored more points than I expected them to be honest. But it is Illinois. Illinois is not all that great, to be honest. So, Illinois wins here. And Rutgers, I don't know. I can't remember who they've got next. They're probably not going to win it, whoever they've got. I'll make my predictions for that probably today or tomorrow or something. Iowa and Minnesota. No, after the way Minnesota just got destroyed by Maryland, and then the way Iowa had a hard-fought battle against Wisconsin, I thought Iowa was going to win this, and they did, 48-31, and it was closer than I expected. I thought it would be a blowout, but what do you expect? I really did expect a blowout, but that didn't happen. A lot of points scored though. Iowa wins here, 48-31. Indiana, Ohio State, self-explanatory. I don't need to explain it. Ohio State wins 49-26. Indiana actually had the lead for a little while. They were ahead 17-13 at one point. I don't know if they had the lead any other time but besides that. But second half came, and Ohio State kind of just started to take back control in the lead. Nothing changes there. Nebraska and Wisconsin, I think this is the last one. At this point, it was the last game of the night. It was the 7:30 game. Every other game had already been done and over with, and I was like, if Wisconsin beats Nebraska, I got every prediction right from this week. And Wisconsin did win, 41-24. So, what is that now? I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for 6 on this week. Now, let's go to the new standings. So if you look towards the bottom of the screen, you see Ohio State is 5-0. They did win. This was from last week, by the way. These standings that you're looking at on the bottom. 5-0 Ohio State is from last week. They're 6-0 now. They beat Indiana, so they are still at number 1. Penn State was on their bye week. They're still 4-1, and they can't go down at all because even though Michigan did win, Penn State hasn't lost to a harder team or to a crap team or whatever. If they were to lose again, if they were to play this week and lose again, then they would go down, obviously. But Penn State is still at number 2. Michigan was at 3 last week. They are still 3 because of that. Wisconsin hasn't moved either. They're still at 4. Michigan State was at 5, but because of their loss, they went down to 7. Iowa was at 6. They did beat who did they beat? Minnesota, I think. Yeah. They went up to 5, so now they're in the top 5 again. Maryland was at 7. So Maryland was at 7. They did lose to Michigan, so Maryland does go down. I think they went down. Yeah, they went down to 9. Indiana was at number 8. They did lose to Ohio State, but because it's Ohio State, they didn't move. They went up. They still remain at 8, and they put up a battle. So I think they deserve to stay where they're at. Minnesota was at number 9 after that loss to Maryland. I think it was. They were at 9. They did lose again, so they did go down to 12. Now Illinois was at 10. They beat Rutgers. I don't know how much they moved, but Illinois, they're still at 10. They did beat a crap team, so they really can't go anywhere currently. So Illinois still at 10. Purdue was on a bye week. They can't move. I haven't ever done that to a team. Just know these are my personal rankings. These aren't the current ones. Now, for me, whenever, no, it doesn't matter. If it's a bye week, you can't move spots. Then if a team wins a big game, they're just going to skip over you. And one of the teams is going to go underneath you. It doesn't matter. Purdue's going to stay where they're at. I'll never move a team on a bye week from their spot. Northwestern had a huge win against a ranked team, number 12 last week after the loss to Michigan. They did jump up huge numbers, I thought. Where are they? Oh, they're at 6 now. Yeah, they had the biggest jump of the weekend. Rutgers, they are 1-5 now after losing to Illinois. They haven't moved. They're still at 13. In Nebraska, lost Wisconsin. They went from 0-4 to 0-5, and because they're the only team without a win in the Big Ten, they have to be last. Until they get a win in the Big Ten, Rutgers will remain ahead of Nebraska, which is crazy to think because Nebraska used to be such a good football team. It used to be a great football team. Considering how bad Rutgers is, I'm not even sure if they play each other. Nebraska better hope that they play Rutgers, because if they can beat Rutgers, which I'm sure they can, they would take 13th, even though it really wouldn't mean much. That is the updated standings. Week 6 is 6-6. And while I'm at it, I guess I'll make my prediction right now for this upcoming Saturday. So let's go back to that. So here's week 7. I'm going to make my predictions now. Since I didn't upload yesterday, I'll put it all in one video. And I have something else I'll make a video for. I have something else saved I can talk about. Week 7. I'm not sure if I'll make it tomorrow either, though, but whatever. Week 7. First game is Minnesota and Ohio State. Minnesota is 12th in the Big Ten. Ohio State is 1. Ohio State is third ranked. Minnesota is unranked. Minnesota isn't good. Ohio State is very good. Ohio State's gonna win. Rutgers and Maryland. Maryland's a heavy favorite. They're, I would say, Rutgers is very towards the bottom. They're 13th. Maryland, I think they're 7 or something. Maryland is still the heavy favorite in all aspects by the fans, by the professionals. Maryland is a huge favorite. They are actually like a 20-some point favorite. I'm gonna agree with that. Maryland gets the win here. Crap, I don't know what the heck that was. Maryland gets the win here. On their home turf. Iowa and Indiana. Now, I think this one could be interesting. I say that, and I was right once and I was wrong the other time, because I said that about Michigan State and Indiana. I said it would be interesting. Michigan State basically, won that pretty well. And then I said that about Northwestern and Michigan State Northwestern, and I was right. It was interesting. It was probably one of the best games of the Big Ten, considering how much I hate Michigan State. But Iowa and Indiana, I'm gonna go with Iowa just because of Indiana, they're good. I think it'll be close. I honestly, I think it'll be close. It'll probably be like a last-minute field goal kind of thing. I feel like that's kind of how it will be, or it'll come down to like a fumble or an interception. Excuse me. I feel like it's going to be a really close one. So Iowa's going to win here. Nebraska and Northwestern. Since Northwestern put up a real fight against Michigan and Nebraska didn't at all, considering Northwestern led Michigan 17-7 at halftime, and Nebraska was down 39-0 at halftime against Michigan. And considering Nebraska's 0-5 and Northwestern is 2-3, even though Northwestern's record, even though Northwestern is a better team, in my opinion, they are a better team than what their record shows. And it's kind of weird how I have them in the standings at 6, even though their record is 2-3. But Northwestern's going to win big here. This is a kind of a big game if Michigan State were ranked. They're out of the rankings, by the way. They're not ranked anymore. Penn State went up to 8. I think they were 9 last week or something. Penn State is going to win. Probably big. I'm not sure. I would say by maybe 10 points, 17 points, 14 points, something like that. A couple of scores they'll probably win by. Michigan State will probably try to put up a fight and do better, but they're not going to be Penn State. It's not going to happen. I don't say, and if it does happen, screw me then. It's good for Michigan either way, because if Michigan State loses, great. They've got another loss, and I like it when they lose. If Penn State loses, then great. Michigan goes up to 2 in the rankings in the Big Ten East, I guess, or just overall. So Penn State's going to win, though. Purdue and Illinois. Purdue's going to win. I'm going to say Purdue's going to win. Illinois probably won't put up a real much of a fight to Purdue. Purdue is another example of one of those teams I feel is just better than what their record shows. And they did beat Boston College, and now they're on a bye week, and Illinois just came off of a win against Rutgers. So I'm giving the win to Purdue, just because they've got a more impressive win than Illinois does. Here's the big game. This is probably the biggest game of the entire Big Ten week. It is, actually. This is the biggest game. This basically, this could be a deciding factor, and like this game could be in the end all be all. Like, the professionals will look at this and say who deserves to be in the Big Ten championship, and they might have to look back at this game. Now, I think no matter what, it's going to be Ohio State, Wisconsin, because there's no way Iowa is going to knock Wisconsin off, because Iowa's already lost to Wisconsin. I mean, it happened to Michigan. in 2016, they beat Penn State so badly, Penn State still went to the Big Ten championship. But I think Wisconsin will make the Big Ten championship game no matter what, even if they do lose this game. Michigan, though, they need this win, I would say, more than Wisconsin does. Because Wisconsin, I guess, can afford a... Well, I don't know. No, Wisconsin can't afford a loss either, I don't think. Because then they may go out of the rankings or maybe going down to the mid-20s or something. Or they may be in the early or the small 20s or whatever, like 20, 21, something like that. And Wisconsin's going into this one as the underdog, surprisingly. I did not expect this. When looking at the rankings, at the beginning of the season, Wisconsin's 6, we're 14, we lose to Notre Dame, then we go down, and we've kind of worked our way back up to that spot Notre Dame was in week 1 at 12. Very close to the top 10, and I think if there can be a couple of teams losing in the top 10 and Michigan wins this one, we'll be in the top 10. And, this is not even Michigan's biggest game. Besides Ohio State, this is if you take Ohio State out, this is not even Michigan's big game. We got Penn State and Michigan State, which to Michigan fans is a bigger game than Wisconsin. I don't know about Penn State. Penn State and Wisconsin are kind of tied, but since Penn State is ranked higher, and I would say they're a better team than Wisconsin, Penn State's a bigger game than Wisconsin. But we could go into this Michigan-Wisconsin game or Michigan State game or Penn State game with Michigan in the top 10. Could you imagine that? Like, Penn State is number 8, Michigan's like number 10 or 9, and they're going up against each other. That sounds exciting, but we have to get through Wisconsin first. They've got an elite defense. They're very good on defense. They're not as good as Michigan on defense, but their offense is, I would say, I don't know. This is very close. This is very, very close, but I don't know. I would say they have a better offense than us, and we have a better defense, so it'll be a very, I would say, low-scoring game. Low-scoring game, I'm going to say. But, and when I look on ESPN, Michigan's a heavy favorite. They're like a 70-some% chance of winning, is what I saw. That's just by people, and some people just vote for their favorite team just because, there's some people who actually think that Rutgers will win, who actually thought Rutgers would beat Ohio State. So I don't know why. There was like 0.8% of people said that, but why would anyone say that? It should have been 100% for Ohio State, but there's always going to be those people. But I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. But Michigan, Wisconsin, it's a night game. I think at like 7:30, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's where I live in. And it's a night game at home for Michigan, for us. And we usually thrive in these kinds of things. Now, if this were a road game at night, we probably wouldn't play as well. But this crowd, it's going to be unbelievable. They're going to be fired up beyond belief for this game. We are going to have the crowd behind us. It's night, and I don't think we've ever lost a night game at home ever. But that's only because we've played only a few games at night, and they're usually against Notre Dame, and we haven't lost to Notre Dame at home in years. All of our, if you look at it, all of our previous losses to Notre Dame were in South Bend. So, but I'm gonna give this win here to Michigan in a very close one. I think it'll be very, very close. I'm not saying Wisconsin is a bad team. I definitely think that they're not as good as. I don't think they deserve to be in the top 10. I don't think that that's where they should be. 6 at the beginning of the season. I still think they're overrated. Even if they beat Michigan, they're still overrated. But we'll see. Wisconsin lost to BYU. And that was a very close one. I think it was a field goal win for BYU. Michigan only has a loss to the 5th-ranked team in the country. Sorry about that. But Michigan only has one loss to the 5th-ranked Notre Dame. Notre Dame is in the top 5 now, if you don't know. They're in the top 5. They're number 5 now. So it does make Michigan look better, even though I want Notre Dame to lose every week. It does make Michigan look better because, well, yeah, they've got a loss. They're 5-1, but that one loss was to a top 5 team. Wisconsin's not a top 5 team. Notre Dame wasn't a top 5 team in week 1, but Notre Dame wouldn't lose to BYU. I think Notre Dame's a better team than Wisconsin is, and we only lost by 7. I mean, we had to have a comeback to win to get that close, but I don't know. I'm gonna give this one to Michigan, and we'll see. I don't know. Wisconsin really hasn't impressed me all that much. Like the Nebraska game, they allowed a lot of points. I think they allowed a lot of points. So I think this game could definitely set up for Michigan to be in the top 10, even Wisconsin. I think if Wisconsin wins this game, they could, especially if they win big, they could probably be close to the top 10 or in the top 10. I don't know. Hopefully Michigan wins and we are put in the top 10, but we would need a couple of teams to lose, and I don't know if any of those teams would lose. I mean, the only reason Notre Dame's at 5 is because LSU lost. For some reason, they wanted to lose to Florida. I think it was Florida. So, I'm sorry. I went on a long time about this one, but this is a big game, and I care about it deeply. So, that is my predictions and my results. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.